Game week 17 may not be over just yet, but it hasn't stopped me making an early transfer going into game week 18. I've had enough of a certain player, and we're going to deep dive into exactly what my transfers are going into this weekend, as well as an update on what is going on with the Bournemouth and Luton game. So as always, if you're new around here, please do consider dropping a like and smashing that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. So first up, we need to look back at game week 17 because it is going to go down as a memorable game week, but sadly for all the wrong reasons with that Tom Lockyer cardiac arrest. Now, thankfully, it does sound like he has reacted well to the medical procedures that they took, and hopefully we'll get a positive update regarding him today. But of course, the Bournemouth-Luton game was abandoned, and the recent update from FPL has said that they have kept game week 17 open, and further news is going to come forward. Now, that is because they need to decide what to do with that game as it was completely abandoned. Some rumours say that they might continue the game from the minute that it was abandoned. Others suggest that the game is going to get completely replayed. But from an FPL perspective, they kind of need to wait until the Premier League make a decision on the game before allocating the points to their specific players. So, of course, a lot of managers worrying about what is going to happen with Dominic Solanke. He was on top bonus points, so he was coming in for 9. He has now dropped down to 6, but there is a lot of rumours that maybe that will go down to 0 and your first sub will automatically replace Dominic Solanke. But look, at the time of recording, there's no official update, but hopefully we'll get something later on today. So with that in mind, here is how I got on in game week 17. Currently ranked 249,000th in the world. It's a big green arrow, 50,000 places. Ended up scoring 66 points, but with a 4-point hit, which was 62. The two transfers that I brought in was both Pedro Porro and Dominic Solanke, and that was for a -4, but they definitely repaid it. And even if Dominic Solanke's points go to 0 and the auto subs come in, I'm actually getting a 9-pointer from Livramento, so it isn't the end of the world for my specific team, but I do appreciate it isn't ideal for other FPL managers out there. But again, we need to reiterate, sometimes things are more important than FPL, like a player's health. But outside of that, it was clean sheets galore. Dubravka with a 7-pointer, Pedro Porro with the 8, and the double Arsenal defence, thankfully, coming in clutch. I did back them, and thankfully they did deliver with my loyalty. Outside of that, Cole Palmer with the 14-pointer, just looking like unbelievable FPL value. And he isn't coming out of that Chelsea team anytime soon because he's the only one really doing anything for them in those attacking phases. And of course, Darwin Núñez blanks once again. Probably my worst FPL transfer I have made for a few seasons now. I'd done the Watkins to Darwin Núñez move a few weeks, hoping he would deliver, and he has been absolutely terrible, and I can't stand to look at him anymore. So spoiler alert, he has already left my FPL team, and I will discuss what direction I have gone in my forwards. So let's take a look at game week 18 and how the team is shaping up, because remember, it is a blank game week. So before any transfers are made, here is how my team is looking going into game week 18. And again, a reminder, it is a blank game week. So I've got one free transfer available, 8.3 million in the bank. I think a lot of managers are like that right now after selling Erling Haaland in game week 17. So we're rolling in the cash right now. We have so many different avenues that we can go with this money. It's quite exciting actually. And of course, I have no blank player. So the team's in a really strong position right now. In terms of the goalkeeper, Dubravka away against Luton. I know Luton have been fantastic at home, but it's not enough of a reason for me to even consider taking Dubravka out of my team. I back the Newcastle defence more than I do the Luton attack. So we're sticking with Dubravka, and the back three right now is going to include Livramento, Pedro Porro and Saliba. I do have Gabriel as first sub, and I could see Arsenal keeping a clean sheet against Liverpool because Liverpool really weren't impressive at all last night against Man United. However, I am going to back Livramento to start once again. Now, I am a little bit concerned because Trippier is going to come back from his suspension, and also Dan Burn returned in the previous game week. But I'm hoping Livramento has done enough to justify him starting in this team once again. But we will keep tabs on that one, because if he doesn't feature, then he could be a sub that comes on later on in the game. And then I need to weigh up whether I want Gabriel or Livramento in my team. So I will keep an eye on, of course, that cup fixture for Newcastle in the midweek. Looking at the midfield, it's looking okay. Obviously, we have Arsenal and Liverpool playing against one another. So I've got Saka versus Mo Salah. And Saka is worrying me a little bit. Arsenal are fantastic, but we're not seeing the output from Bukayo Saka in terms of goals. He very much is becoming more of a chance creator in this side. So He isn't going anywhere for my team right now. I have other issues that I need to address, but I am keeping him in the back of my mind because I'm not seeing the goal scorer that we saw last season, even though he, of course, offers guaranteed minutes in that Arsenal team. So one to monitor. Gordon away against Luton, absolutely fine. Cole Palmer, brilliant. And right now the captaincy is on Son at home against an informed Everton team. But I do back the Spurs attack to score against any side. My only concern about Son right now is that he is playing on the left of a front three with Richarlison now occupying the forward position. We need to monitor that one, but again, with Son going off to the Asia Cup from game week 21 onwards, there's no world I'm going to be selling Son for Richarlison before that point. Definitely going to keep Son in my team unless we saw a massive regression in his underlying numbers that would suggest Richarlison is the man to own. And looking at the front two, Dominic Solanke away against Nottingham Forest, absolutely fine. But the big one, Darwin Núñez at home against Arsenal. You may have guessed already that I have sold him in a heartbeat. The minute that Liverpool game ended, he was gone from my team. Now, looking at the fixtures for game week 18, you can see right at the top is Aston Villa at home against Sheffield United. And there's a certain Ollie Watkins that I don't own in my FPL team. And when we're looking at game week 18, remember Man City and Brentford don't play. And when I take a look at these fixtures, the only one that I think is absolutely essential for this weekend is going to be a certain Ollie Watkins. And realistically, is there any other move that I want to make in my team? Not really. And is there any world where I go into this week without Ollie Watkins? And the answer is no. And that is the reason why I've already pulled the trigger on a transfer. Yes, things can happen in the week, but look, Darwin Núñez to Ollie Watkins made complete sense for my team. So he is in, spoiler alert. Looking at the other fixtures, I don't really think there are any other teams that I desperately want to transfer. There's a few rumours about Paul Torres being injured, so I don't really want to touch the Aston Villa defence right now. Fulham are looking great, but I don't want to go there for a one-game week punt. And Forest are very, very difficult to predict. And outside of that, yes, I would like another Newcastle attacker. But again, I can't really predict the minutes of the likes of Callum Wilson and Isak. So all in all, I'm really happy with the team. We'll take a look at how it's looking with the transfer and also some long-term fixtures that we need to consider for our teams. So as always, even though we are focusing on game week 18 being a blank, we also need to look a little bit further ahead to see if any teams are having incredible fixture swings that maybe we can get ahead of the curve. Now, once again, these are kind of fixtures based on difficulty, and right now Aston Villa are top for the next 5. So basically, Watkins looks great for game week 18, but he also makes sense for the long term. So it's a no-brainer for those that currently don't own Ollie Watkins. You need to get him into your FPL teams. I feel quite lucky that he's only delivered the points that he has over the last 4 weeks. It could have been even worse for my overall rank. So Sheffield United at home, Man United away doesn't look terrible at all. Burnley, Everton, Newcastle. I think these are really good fixtures for Ollie Watkins. You bring him in and you keep him in long term. Another team that looked great going long term is Brighton. The problem is the ones that I would like to own, Matoma, maybe even a Dingra at cheaper, are going to the AFCON and Asia Cup from game week 21 onwards. Do I really want to buy a Brighton player for only 3 game weeks? And the answer is no on that one. So I think Brighton is an avoid unless you think there is a defender that's worth buying. But defensively, they're all over the place right now this season. Outside of that, West Ham is one that I'm monitoring right now. I think Jarrod Bowen is definitely going to come into my team. But again, it might be around game week 20 once we start to sell the likes of Mohamed Salah and Son. I don't think Bowen is a desperate transfer in for the next 2 weeks, even though Man United on paper looks quite like a promising fixture. I think we earmark Bowen from game week 20. We do Salah down to Bowen, and then we have the money available to upgrade any of your forwards for an Erling Haaland. For those that are questioning it right now, obviously you can see the Man City fixtures down here. Blanking game week 18, but we do need to have an eye on when we might bring Erling Haaland back in. Now for my team, I don't really feel comfortable selling Salah or Son in game week 19. And away against Everton, I think I'm just going to back, hopefully, Everton putting in a good display against Man City. And if Haaland is back, and we will get some news between now and game week 19 deadline, I'm just hoping I can go 1 game week without him. And then I'll look to bring him back in for game week 20 at home against Sheffield United and use either Salah or Son's money to then reinvest in the forward. So long term, I think Watkins makes loads of sense. But Bowen makes loads of sense, all kudos from game week 20. outside of that, I think the team is pretty much locked in for the next few weeks. So just for confirmation, here is how my Game Week 18 team is going to look. I'll be very, very surprised if I take a -4 for this team. I just don't really see any players out there that really need it. And also, I have Gabriel away against Liverpool as my first sub. It's not the worst thing in the world. And I also have Charlie Taylor as well, coming back from his suspension away against Fulham. So I don't really see any reason to take a -4 for this team. So I'm pretty much locked in. The big thing is captaincy. I could be tempted by Son at home against Everton, but now that he's left the forward position, gone off to the left, I just feel a bit more comfortable going for Ollie Watkins at home against the Sheffield United team, who conceded a lot of chances against a Chelsea team who are all over the place right now. So I think this Aston Villa team, who are just a well-oiled machine, are going to be the ones to go for, and it looks really difficult to look past someone like an Ollie Watkins. So this is how the team's going to look. As I said, transfer made. I will be doing, of course, videos between now and Game Week 18 deadline, updating you with other news that we need to discuss. But look, the team's pretty much locked in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Yes, guys, okay, so that's going to wrap up today's Game Week 18 transfer plan video. I really hope it has provided some value to you. Hopefully we'll get an update regarding the Bournemouth-Luton situation, so do monitor Twitter, follow the YouTube channel, as we will update you as soon as we hear it. As always, if you're new around here, please do consider dropping a like, smashing that subscribe button. And without further ado, that leaves me to say have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Cheers.